Good morning. I'd like to call this special meeting of council to order. And I'll start off with roll call. District 1.
Bruce Prout.
District 2.
McDonald.
District 3.
Wayne Power.
District 4.
Councillor McNeil is unable to attend today.
District 5.
Gregory Hemming.
District 6.
Alec Morrison.
District 7.
Timothy Habinski.
District 8. District 8. Oh. District 9.
Wendy Sheridan.
District 10, which is myself, Martha Roberts. District 11.
Diane LeBlanc.
Thank you. And our topic today is transit. And whether we need a motion to get the buses prepared to go.
Make that motion.
I need a motion to be made.
Well,
Carolyn, do you have a motion? A suggested motion? Okay.
No.
Okay. Councillor Gunn.
I would move that Annapolis County contact Glenn Bannon and have him get our buses up and running for, I don't know, how about tomorrow?
I think they're planning for as early as the 8th. It may be a little later. And I think our resolution would be to, we agree with the plan and timelines laid out by King's Transit to get the buses back running. Certain things will still be in play. For example, they're not going to charge anybody. They have to use the back door of the bus. They will social distance as far as they can, but it probably won't meet requirements, but they're exempt from that. They're going to encourage people to have face masks. They're going to be cleaning the buses, I think, every 2 hours. And there's other protocols in place that they'll be implementing. They're not operating 7 days a week. They're going to operate 6 days a week. So I think I think would be the appropriate thing is to agree with their recommendations and to approve the plan for reopening as they described.
So what's the motion?
Motion would be to agree to the plan from King's Transit, Glenn Banning, on their process to restart the buses.
We're in supporting of the plan that they've laid out to reopen.
I would make that motion.
So there's
Okay,
been
moved by
Councillor Gunn made the motion, I think.
right.
I thought Councillor Gunn's motion was to open it tomorrow. Is
I
that
think he was
right?
getting assistance with the wording, maybe.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Councillor
Then I
Gunn?
would second.
Is that
Councillor Gunn, is that the motion you're making?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay? Seconded by Councillor Hemming.
Thank you.
Councillor LeBlanc.
Just so you know, the board has not met yet, and there are some questions that need to be answered before things are moving forward. There is a different scenario other than just reopening. They are also trying to do some bus route changes, and in those bus route changes, which would only be for Kings County, it would not interfere in our rollout or the time zone, the time between the meets and so forth. Some were hesitant in starting the bus route again because they want a bus route change. But that's hard to decide because it has to go through UARB. Is it going to take 2 weeks, a month? What's it going to take before? Some wanted to wait till that because they didn't want to start a route with all, the times. And they just wanted to go into the bus route change further down the line. So they're dealing with something extra that we're not dealing with. What we're dealing with is, and then of course, then the issue of the fare. some of them are thinking the fair should be started when it reopens. Some are,
Mhm.
the board has not put in definite breakdown of how this is going to roll out. And I thought we were going to meet today, but I did not receive any meeting agenda or anything. But it is clear to say, and Glenn Bannon has definitely made it quite clear that Annapolis County can roll out their buses now. The buses are ready, cleaned, prepped, and the operators are ready to go. They just need to go. And it's like I sent to you in my report. Basically, they've been doing all the 2-hour clean down all the touch areas in the Digby County because they've been running all along. So they have never, well, they stopped at one point, but when we restarted and stopped again, they never stopped. So the implementation is already being done in Digby County with their buses. Having said that, from stats, there's about 50% of their ridership using the bus. Again, that's depending on the person, if the fear is there and if they don't want to, or, you know, everybody feels differently about traveling and everybody feels differently about getting out of their homes. So, but being that we have a June 5th opening by the province, we do have an obligation to our citizens to be able to open them up to all the different businesses that are opening up, and to our business owners who are actually are able to open up so that they can continue. That's just my opinion. But the bus transit is there. We can open it anytime we want to. We can wait. We can. It's up to us how we roll it out. We do not have to follow Kings County to the T. We can make our own differences in start time and hours of implementation. But I think it's better if we keep the hours as the limited times that we had before, because it appears that in the evenings nobody is going out. After they're done work, they seem to have done whatever needs to be done if they're at work, or do their stuff during the day, which is a positive thing. So I'll leave it up to you for discussion, and if you have any questions, I'll certainly try to answer them. Thank you.
Councilor Sheridan?
So regarding what Councilor LeBlanc just brought up, is it possible to make an amendment to our motion so we can get them started in Annapolis County as per their precautions that they're going to list, like the masks and everything and the cleanliness of the buses where Digby is running, and restrictions have been lifted in the province and people are going back to work? I would make an amendment if I could, if that's okay.
Before the amendment is made, you touched on the mask.
Mm-hmm.
The mask is do you want to mandate that everybody gets on the bus with a mask?
I don't think we can do that.
No,
I
we
think
can't,
no,
because,
no.
because
Recommendations, right?
that is one of the recommendations that they
Mhm.
do have to put out there.
Mhm.
Okay, so perfect.
Is that different than the recommendations that King's Transit already circulated?
Yes, because King's Transit have some issues. They're going to do some changes in their bus routes, and it said that it could take a week, more than a week or something, and then we would be detained in opening our bus. So if we do it on our own, we can open when we choose.
Your amendment would be to open the bus on a certain date, or,
And Diane might be able, she had her hand up, she may be able to explain a little bit more on that.
okay, Councilor LeBlanc?
And if you're looking at a certain date, it's like Mr. Ferguson said, they are looking at June 8th, but that's not in stone because the board has not met.
Mhm.
But it's a date he kind of seems to look at, but it's still not, as Mr. Bannon I'm talking about, but it still did not go through the board yet. And today we are what are we today? The 3rd or the 4th? The 3rd. And everything opens up on Friday.
That's right.
There's two things going on here. that we have to decide. Thank you.
So if we, could we put in the date of June the 8th, if permissible by King's Transit?
Is that your amendment?
Yep.
Could I have a seconder for the amendment? Seconded by Counselor Fowler. All in favor on the amendment?
Discussion?
Discussion?
Discussion.
So, okay, Counselor McDonald?
Yeah,
Yeah.
discussion on the motion. I don't know why in Councillor Sheridan's amendment, we can't say open on the 5th or as soon as possible thereafter.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
And if it's not possible on the 5th, or they cannot possibly open till the 8th, well, we can live with that. But
Mhm.
that's saying Annapolis County is in sync with the province of Nova Scotia for the 5th. That's what it's saying.
Sure. I'm fine with that.
So do you have that, Carolyn?
A question? I
No,
have a
there was
question.
just this discussion. There wasn't a
Yep.
change yet. A change has not been made to the amendment yet.
Okay.
Okay. Counselor Morrison?
Thank you. I think one thing I want to make sure I'm clear on is that we are able to do with our bus what it is we would like to do. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. So Councillor Sheridan said, had the phrase "if permissible," and I'm not sure what that meant. And then Councillor McDonald suggested different wording, and I'm wondering if that different wording was designed to eliminate the phrase "if permissible."
Permissible was just meant if it was possible. I should have said if possible by King's Transit to start running the buses. Thank you.
Counselor Hemming?
Thank you.
Yeah, just to make sure I'm clear on this, in this discussion, some new information. What you're saying, if I understand that right, is that the province is okay with opening it up the 5th, or transportation the 5th. And John was saying that it may be at least the 8th before King's Transit puts something in place. My thought is as soon as we're in sync with the province, I would like to move on that.
That would be the 5th.
The 5th.
That would be the 5th, I guess, from what I understand now. I mean, if that's a good date and there's no financial landmines in doing that and the buses are ready, then my thought is we would open it up in sync with the province. And King's Transit will join that from King's, when they see fit. Am I reading this right?
Yes.
Well, that's what I would open it in sync with the province. End of story.
Wayne has something.
Counselor Fowler?
Yeah, just wondering about capacity of the bus, especially with the stores and stuff opening, on whether there's a limit of 10 or whatever on the bus, on the big bus, that is. Anyway, that's my question, I guess. Diane might be heard something.
Counselor LeBlanc?
At this particular time, Councillor Fowler, what they're doing is they have limited seatings, but it's continued on in Digby County, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Would we meet up with a problem and there'd be too many on the bus? I don't know what their protocol is for that at the moment. Maybe Mr. Ferguson, do you know what the protocol is? They had
I
some.
don't have, King's Transit would have an understanding of the scale of protocols. If we said that we wanted people to have masks, I think we could. Because it's whether or not that we would allow somebody on the bus. And if we're still being safe during this time period, I think council could consider that. Ultimately, the same protocols that they discussed before, separating the seats from people, cleaning the handrails, having sanitizer, only using the back door, the driver's protected. There's a shield between the driver and the passengers. All those things, I think, would need to remain. To a certain extent, full operation of hours. I'm not sure if we're not connected to what King's Transit does. Are we inhibiting some of our existing riders so that they can't make a connection? I don't have an answer to that. So I think we do have to coordinate somewhat. I see no problem with suggesting that we open on June 5th and to see what that brings back. Our objective would be to open on June 5th unless otherwise not possible for King's Transit at this time, but to open as soon as possible. You could do that. But ultimately send the same message that we want all the protocols in place.
Councillor Hebbing?
Yes, John, I just wanted to follow up on what you said. You thought it was possible for us to, in a sense, mandate, I suppose, mask to get on the bus.
I think so because, because it's a choice.
Okay, because if that's possible, I really like that because when I go places, I wear a mask, and I do that for their sake, not mine. And I think that compassionate piece to advertise that is a real strong community builder. That now, we're insisting on that because for them, not ourselves.
Yeah. So, for example, one of the boxes that we were sending to China never got sent, so it came back. We have the choice of returning it or keeping it. We have, it's not N95 masks, but very good masks from Home Depot. And we have a box. We could maybe give it to the drivers. I'm not sure how they would be distributed. That's the other thing. But ultimately, it's just to prevent, anything passing through somebody sneezing or coughing or even speaking by having a mask on. As Prime Minister Trudeau said, people speaking moistly. And,
yes,
and ultimately, if people are interacting, the odds of something transmitting can occur. So I think it's just an added protection. I'm really not sure if somebody says, wait a second, you can't do that. Where I'm coming into thinking that we could probably ask that they have masks on is it's a choice to get on the bus or not. And that could be a condition to get on the bus.
Councillor Gunn?
I'll make sure I'm on. Thank you. I have a serious problem with telling people they have to wear masks, right? Because that's just going to create a lot of conflict with a lot of folks. I think we can suggest they wear masks. I think we can offer them a mask and suggest, but to actually put them on, the mask may well make some people feel claustrophobic. That's why they don't wear it. A lot of masks in a lot of cases, we see people driving around wearing masks in their own car, and a lot of people have issue with that. So I have a problem forcing, you can't get on the bus unless you wear a mask. I have a serious issue with that. But anyway, that's for council to decide on. And the other thing was the wording in Wendy's, and I'm quite sure we moved beyond that. And I think we should be opening up in league with the province, the timeline. But I don't think we should be based on anything necessarily Kings County, right? The Kings County should be almost left out of our time schedule open. I think Annapolis County should be acting on its own, not directed by Kings County. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
The motion was with King's Transit, not Kings County. It was regarding King's Transit, not Kings County.
You're muted, Michael.
That's not exactly what I heard. That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right.
Gordon Dubinsky?
Just two quick things. One, if I would have no difficulty at all with the municipality requiring people to wear masks. It's a public safety issue, and that's sort of a protocol has been demonstrated to be effective in reducing the spread. Stores and businesses have the legal ability to require the wearing of masks for people who go into stores. Not all stores are doing it, but some are. I think the municipality certainly could, particularly if we're prepared to provide masks. I wanted to mention that we've got 3 parcels that are waiting for us at the post office in Annapolis Royal that I believe are likely the gift of 5,000 masks we've received from the city of Shenzhen in China. So we certainly would have a supply of masks that we would be able to provide if we can figure out a safe mechanism of putting them into people's hands. And secondly, I agree with Councillor Hemming. I think that we should simply state that we intend to reopen our bus services on the date permitted by the province. Thank you.
If I can just add to that, it's really, we would have to make the request to King's Transit about the masks. It would be their decision to enforce it because they're a separate legal entity and it would be up to them. They're operating our service. So there is a request to be made to them. Ultimately, as a corporation, I think that they can, it's the same as, a restaurant that says you must remove your hat if you want to come in or something of that nature. Some people may not like it, but a private corporation can do something like that. And I think King's Transit, even though it's a public service, may have the ability to ask for masks to be on if they're traveling on the bus. But again, it's up to council. It's what you want to do.
Okay. Councillor LeBon and Councillor Fowler.
Well, I'm going to speak about the mask. It was kind of discussed because through the board that if we mandate that everybody has a mask getting on the bus, who would provide all these masks as they're getting in and out? There would be how many at the door or how many where? And what happens when you run out? If you mandate it and you put the mask there and you run out, what happens then? What happens when Grammy wants to get on the bus and she has no mask and you have no mask because you've mandated it to give out to this person? Then what do you leave Grammy on the side of the road and say she can't get on the bus? There's a lot of issues there. Plus the fact of the matter is making sure that the bus driver is always looking at for masks. Maybe we could say that we would like them to, because who's going to monitor that? Like there's a monitoring problem there as far as that goes, and maybe the best place to say is like, it's like the stores. They don't tell you you can't come in if you don't have a mask. So I wouldn't want to be doing that.
That's true. That is true.
Right.
Stores are not doing it.
So to me, it's like we could say that or have a sign that says, we would like you to consider wearing masks, or it's preferable to wear a mask, or I don't know. But if I go in the store and I don't have a mask, they don't turn me around.
The only difference on a bus is that the social distancing can't be maintained. That's really some of the stores are only allowing certain people in. They're maintaining social distances to a certain extent. The bus, yeah.
They only allow certain people into your store as well. Well, there will be distancing on the bus as far as I've heard. So I don't know that we can mandate something that nobody else has mandated. The province didn't mandate us to all wear masks either. So that's an issue for me. Now, if we have any masks that are coming in, and I know that we have people down in our homes around here, long-term homes, and in the hospitals that don't particularly have the mask. So, and they're having time, everybody's having a hard time with masks. So, we might have to share equal to this and that, where our caretakers are the ones that, have to see up to million people.
Sue Chen, I think, thinks that we plan on using the masks to help with our senior homes and whatnot, and actually wanted to get a photo op of an opportunity to communicate that that's what it's being used for. So fortunately, we do have quite a few masks. Doesn't take long to go through them.
That's exactly right. And especially if you put it, like, I'm not saying I'm opposed to giving out masks, but I'm saying it's not going to take long before all of them are gone, because people might use them once and chuck them in or throw them on the streets or whatever instead of using it appropriately. And others will use it absolutely appropriately. Anyway, and then the other thing that needs to be discussed is the fare, because as far as the fare is concerned, Kings County, the Kings Transit Board appears to think that fare should not be started right away. So that's the other part of this situation that we have to look at. And as far as time is, as I mentioned before, Mr. Bannon said it had nothing to do. Annapolis County can go whenever they want and start. Thank you.
Timothy, do you want to take the meeting over or me continue?
That, if you would continue, I still, just for the people who may be watching it at the moment, our Wi-Fi is down at our house. I'm using my phone, so I can see 4 faces now, but that's not enough if I want to be able to keep track of who needs to speak. So I appreciate the Deputy Warden chairing the meeting for us. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Fowler?
Yeah, the buses, there are buses, and I think if we get the masks, we should be supplying them to the people that want them, and it almost being a requirement. But anyway, I think we should be given masks. Buses be given out. Thank you.
Councillor Gunn? You're on mute.
Thank you. So these masks now, are these masks you're talking about the masks that we sent China and they sent back, or are these the Chinese masks that they sent over to us that we don't know if they're CSA up to a CSA standard? And if we're giving out masks that aren't up to a standard and telling those will protect people, then we may well yet be responsible. If there's some kind of, exposure to something. So anyway, that's just something else we have to consider when we start giving people out protective gear and tell them these will keep you safe. We have to be sure that they will. Thank you.
Councillor Sheridan and CAO.
So regarding the fares, I was just wondering if King's Transit is subsidized by the province or the federal government now in regards to the fares, and maybe that's if they're not. Okay, just a question. Okay, thank you.
CAO?
Yeah, just Councillor Gunn had a question related to, I think one box never got shipped and it was too expensive to ship the box, so it got returned. I think that's what happened to the box that we received as a return. The Suchen did mail from Suchen masks that arrived as well. So there's 2 separate boxes of masks.
Okay.
And they're not N95s, and nor do we say that they are. They do help, but they're not foolproof.
Councillor LeBlanc?
I think that Councillor Gunn brought up a good point. Because if we're giving out masks to the public for King's Transit, somehow, it's not that it's a bad plan. However, are we saying, as exactly what he said, are we saying that we are sure this will protect them? If you make your own mask, you're doing your own thing, and you buy it and whatever. However, if we're doing it in a specific area, now if they're not N95s that we have, but at the same time, I'm not sure about that. He's brought up a good point, and I don't think that we should just put it aside, because to me, it's the same way. Like, I would not want to be giving a mask to somebody else and say, no, use this when you're getting on something on the bus. I don't know how that's going to be presented, and it does bring me with some concerns, and I see his point. So thank you.
Councillor Hemming?
Well, I think we're absolutely overthinking this. I mean, why is it possible to simply, people ought to be wearing a mask when they go out in public for no other reason that this is an asymptomatic virus, period, end of story. You know, I appear to be healthy. I haven't been out any place. I'm fine. I could be carrying the virus. I wear a mask. And when you give someone a mask, we're not saying it's protected against everything. We're insured and licensed, bonded. Why can't we say we stress, Annapolis County would stress that you wear a mask. If you don't have one, the driver will supply you with one. And we create these scenarios that one case that people are going to wear them once and throw them away, that people are claustrophobic. I live in Annapolis County, and I can tell you that most of the people I talk to are responsible and commonsensical about things. They have a mask, they'll wear a mask, they won't just throw it away. I think the majority of people are that way, so let's open the bus, give them a mask if they want to, and wish them a good, healthy day, period. We're overthinking it, I think.
Councillor Fowler and then Warden Lubinski.
Yeah, well, if you win the drugstore and the banks and what have you, people are wearing all kinds of masks. They're all not number one masks, no, but if it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for the public. That's all I got to say.
Warden Lubinski.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to point out the federal government has officially endorsed the use of non-medical masks for regular residents as they go about their affairs. The chief medical officer for the country has indicated that non-medical masks still are effective in reducing the spread of the disease. I think if the federal government has stated that non-medical masks are something that people should be using, I think we are absolutely on solid ground to be handing out masks that are not necessarily N95, but which are entirely appropriate to ensuring that if one is infected with an illness, that one does not spread it to others. If you notice on Facebook and social media right now, there's a number of different people, even in our own community, who have started small businesses making and selling simple fabric masks, and those are perfectly adequate for this task as well. I agree with Councillor Hemming. I think we're really overthinking this. I think we could simply establish it. You know, it's strongly recommended that everybody wear a mask. If you don't have one, you get in the bus. We will try to ensure that there are masks there available free of charge for you to use. Simple as that.
Councillor Craig.
Thank you. I think we seem to be at a consensus on the main points. It appears everyone would like to start on the 5th if everything is doable at that point. Recommend masks and offer masks. And as far as the starting up the fare system, maybe that's something, I don't know if we need that in the motion, but you could say fares to be looked at in 2 weeks' time or whatever, or reestablishing the fares in 2 weeks. But I think there's a broad consensus here, or it appears to me there is, that start on the 5th, strongly recommend masks. Perhaps, it can be dicey to how, you know, the bus driver, they're not going to go out the front. He's going to slide one through an opening and so on. Provide them if possible, and that should work. Anyway, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Gunn.
Yes, you know, if you want to supply masks, fine, supply them. Have a box there that people can, you know, paw around in and use, or have a dispenser or whatever. Don't keep somebody from getting on the bus because they don't want to wear a mask or they don't have a mask, whatever. A lot of people, like I said, like Timothy says, and different ones, a lot of people will wear masks in their own vehicle. There's a certain paranoia, certainly in the country, about this, and certain carefulness with people as well. But I do not wear a mask. I have one in my car. If I was going into a very populated place, chances are I may put one on. The dollar store on check day or something like that, when, you know, everybody's in there, I would probably want to wear a mask. But the average day, I do not wear a mask.
Councillor LeBlanc and then Councillor Hemming. I have you, Wayne.
And I think the way that we have to look at it is exactly like what the Warden Lubinski has said. We strongly recommend that people wear masks, because nobody has mandated anybody in this country to wear masks, but we've been strongly recommending and been told that. And the other thing is, it's like the bus, if the bus driver has to pass out masks, that might be something he's not willing to do. And if you leave them in a box for people to take, then you have all sorts of hands and everything else and going on into that. So there's a whole bunch of other things that are looked at and to consider at that same time. But it always comes back to the same thing. We might be overthinking this, as Hemming has said. However, we can't tell people what to do, and if they don't want to wear one, they won't. And if they're accepted in the store the way they are, and we want our public to be able to move around and do their chores and do what they need to do and provide the service, then we kind of mandate, not really mandating, but having things put on a bus that, we don't know how we're going to dispense them. I kind of see a problem with that. I think we're trying to go a little bit too far because we're trying to protect everybody. However, I don't want to be turning people away off a bus. My grandmother needs to get on that bus, then she should be able to get on that bus even if she doesn't want a mask. Yeah, you can't give her the mask, doesn't mean she's going to wear it. So where does it go? I don't know about that issue. I find it, I don't know, concerning in different ways. Thank you.
Councilor Hemming?
The county highly recommends you wear a mask. The driver will provide you one if you don't have one. And I think that all works fine. I like that. Is the driver going to be wearing a mask? Because if the driver's not wearing a mask, all of this kind of falls apart. If we're asking people to wear a mask, highly suggesting they do, and the driver is not wearing one, then that's an issue. So I think, is the driver going to be wearing a mask?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, then we're fine.
Okay.
I'd like to call the question.
Councilor Fowler?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that last 3 days, Nova Scotia's been pretty clean with hardly any new cases and what have you. And but since the demonstrations that was going on in Halifax and Wolfville, social distancing, things might change. So we are trying to get time for loading the bus up. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up.
Okay, Councilor McDonald?
Yeah, a lot of these, thank you very much. A lot of these topics that we're discussing were sent to us by General Manager Bannon 2 days ago in an email. For example, fare collection will resume on July 1st. All bus drivers will be wearing a mask and when permissible, face shields, and all these topics are pretty much covered. And they are going to certainly recommend anybody entering the bus wear a mask. And I'm okay with putting some on the bus. I'm not a big fan of plastic bags, but here's a mask in a plastic bag. And if there were a couple dozen put on a bus in a box, somebody could take one. And I think we should open the bus Friday if they can possibly do it. I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
Perfect.
Councilor Sheridan?
I was just going to mention that simple signage might work too. Like if you could put a sign on the website or on the bus that says, "Please, for your safety and our bus drivers' safety and others, please wear a mask." Just something, just a reminder that please take a mask, please put it on for the safety of our bus driver and others. Not necessarily for yourself, but protect the others around you. Just something simple that might remind people that they have to have a mask or should have a mask. Thank you.
And I think that, they should be recommended to wear them. I mean, and the issue would be how we're going to provide them safely to the passengers. And my other issue is the fares. I mean, those buses are not running up and down the street for free. And it's costing taxpayers dollars to run those buses. And I do not agree that they should be free. They should have a box there. if the bus driver can pass out masks, then they should have a box up there close to him that they can put their money in and ride. But I do not think that they should be riding for free. Councillor LeBlanc.
And I will answer that question. I see Timothy has, Warden Hibiscus his hand up as well, and John. Okay, to get on the bus, the box is at the front by the driver. Now the buses will not be opening the front door. It will only be the back door. They want to keep the driver away from a lot of the public. So that's the reason why that's happening. So the fare issue is right now, I think that they're thinking that we should just, I know the cost of the buses and the ridership, but it should be kept at a minimum to just reinstate the bus service. And that's why they're doing it in that manner. Does that explain it to you, Deputy Warden Roberts?
Oh, it explains it to me, but there's other methods. I mean, if you want to ride the bus, buy a bus pass.
Some of them do have their bus passes, you're correct. And they just get on the bus, but right now nothing is being looked at all. And it hasn't been. And we might receive some money, maybe possibly down the pipe from the government, because every transit is not, in Canada, is not asking any favor for getting on their buses. So the cost to everyone is high. So obviously it's going to have to be looked at, I would think. Don't know. Can't predict that one. And the thing is, I want to add to this. I just added that because of your comment. What I wanted to speak about was the advertising. If we plan on doing this, it would be really nice if we had like King's Transit would do the advertising. They're going to put it on their site. They're doing this and doing that. However, it would be probably to our benefit that we had a little, I'll say the word blurb. We have a little blurb that would come from maybe our warden and put it on the radio or such, that we are opening whatever day we're opening it on, and we're going with the province, and we want to start our people moving around, but we certainly want them to be safe. I think a little piece like that needs to be added from our county to our residents, because we all want our residents to be safe. That they use the bus or don't use the bus, but we're trying to help them out by opening the bus system to them and have it out there before it opens on whatever date it is, which is, if we decide the 5th, which is Friday, then we should have that maybe advertised by the end of the day or starting tomorrow. That it's coming. That's just an opinion. Thank you very much.
Okay. Warden Abinsky.
A general discussion of all things bus related, but I think there actually is a motion for an amendment currently on the table that was moved and seconded and hasn't been voted on. I wonder if Carolyn could read out the wording for the amendment so we can sort of refocus where we're going. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been trying to jump in. I'll bring you in from the beginning. It was moved by Councillor Gunn, seconded by Councillor Hemming, to support the recommendations from King's Transit Authority and approve the restart of transit service as outlined by General Manager Glenn Bannon. Councillor Sheridan moved, seconded by Councillor Fowler, to amend the motion by adding restarting bus service in Annapolis County on June 8th, if possible. That's what's in front of you. Thank you.
Councillor Sheridan.
So could I amend the amendment to make it June 5th as opposed to June 8th?
You can make one more amendment, yes.
Okay, let's go with June 5th. Thank you.
A seconder.
Have a seconder, Councillor McDonald. All those in favor of the amendment? Those opposed? Motion's passed. Okay. On the motion, could you read the motion, Carolyn?
Yeah, just give me a second. The motion as amended will read, it was moved by Councillor Gunn, seconded by Councillor Hemming to support the recommendations from King's Transit Authority and approve the restart of transit service as outlined by General Manager Glenn Bannon, restarting bus service in Annapolis County on June 5th, if possible.
Okay.
Question?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay. We will move to, I'll need a motion to go in camera under section E, contract negotiations, and C, personnel.
So moved.
Moved by Warden Obinsky, seconded by Councillor Hemming. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And you have to leave the meeting and go to your call-in. And
Thank
then
you,
we
Deputy
will
Warden.
resume after. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy
Can
Warden.
you say that again?
Ready to
Where's
roll,
Carol?
rolling.
I will reconvene this meeting back to order. And the motion, if I could get the clerk to read the suggested motion, please.
To authorize the CAO to work with NCS to submit a funding application to develop Nova Scotia to provide internet service to the South Mountain
Area.
I'll make that motion.
South Mountain areas.
areas.
Okay, moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by the Warden Obinsky. Any discussion?
Please.
Councillor Gunn, then Councillor Hemming.
Thank you very much. Listen, I'm all for dollars, especially the government, any form of government, for internet to the South Mountain. I'm all for it. My God, yes, bring it on. But I am not comfortable giving the nod when I'm not feeling informed enough. If you know how that service is going to be delivered. We really shouldn't be saying anything to our constituents because we don't know as councillors what's actually going on. So that's where I'm at. You know, I really don't know how to vote on this thing. I really don't, because I don't know what it's going to evolve from it. If anything's going to evolve from it. You know, we just don't know. Yes, there's government money out there, but how is that going to be applied to the folks that in my area aren't going to get an equitable delivery of service? That's all I have to say.
Councillor Hemming?
I'm going to strongly support this motion because I'm fully informed on where this is going. And I have been for years. We haven't changed direction. So I fully support this. My only suggestion was we instead of just NCS, we spell out the name, which I don't have in front of me, but it's instead of just the initial NCS, I think.
I think the name of the company is NCS.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but NCS means, I'm sorry, I'm not clear on this. The name of what's the name of the company? NCS stands for Adult Communication System.
I have to, I'm just looking at the letterheads to see if it spells it out. I don't have where it's spelled out. I'll find that out. We've always referred to it as the acronym NCS Networks, but I'll find out.
I
what
know if you
NCS
call
stands
in, yeah, but I think there's a more elaborate name, but if there is, I would suggest using it.
If there is, I will.
Any more questions? All those in favor?
Wait,
Oh,
Timothy.
Warden Obinsky?
Hand up for a little while. Just wanted to say we can't know what the shape of it will be yet because we don't even know if our application will be approved. We don't know if our application is approved, if it will be approved in the full amount. We're not sure what sort of a pot of money we're liable to obtain with this. What we do know is this: if we don't apply by this Friday, we can't use any of it. And therefore, I think it makes sense for us to try to receive whatever government funds we can to extend our reach. while the opportunity exists. Thank you.
We
Okay,
need-
Councillor McDonald.
No, I'm fine. I am I am well aware of what we're doing and where we're going with this. NCS is a reputable company, and the provincial counterpart we're applying to, I know they are a member. I know we are a member, and that is the quickest way in my heart to get quality internet to some people in the far-flung corners of our county. It may not be the end all. It may not be where we end up years down the road, but it will ensure quality internet as soon as possible to a lot of people. Thank you.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Those opposed? Councillor Gunn opposed? Oh, Mr. Ferguson?
Yeah, I wasn't voting.
That's right, I voted no.
Basically, to understand what we're doing is the county knows that we have to build fiber optic cable backhaul within the county in order to get service to systemic areas. We demonstrated that we were building backhaul, and that allowed us to qualify for Connect Innovate funding that will deal with the Shore Road and the North Mountain. We also purchased 4 towers 4 years ago with the intent of knowing that we'll have to extend much greater backhaul wireless service to other parts of the South Mountain areas. And so our application and our work with NCS will be to seek funding to support that initiative and to bring much greater internet speeds to the South Mountain areas based on the best possible technology and the best value that we can get. And it may end up using potentially 5G technology such as Nokia. I think NCS is working with that now, and the ability to bring much greater internet speeds, and less disruptive speeds to remote areas of the county. So that's what this application will work on, and we're focusing on the South Mountain areas. That would include Highway 10, that would include Highway 8, that would include areas of West Dalhousie and Bloomington and areas of Torbrook. But all of that we're looking at. We're also analyzing where other services being provided, and we're going to try not to duplicate. We will duplicate in some areas. It'll be unavoidable, but we're looking at that and ultimately to try to bring the best possible service to as many residents as possible. That's our goal. That's been our goal.
And the motion was passed.
Thank you.
Yes. Councillor Fowler?
Yeah, it's still endless internet, isn't it?
Pardon?
For our constituents, it's still endless internet, isn't it?
Yes, no limits, no caps.
No cap.
Yeah, it's unlimited amount of internet. Yep.
Unless you live up the South Mountain.
Well, that's what
All
we're
right.
applying for. We're applying to improve immensely the service in the South Mountain areas.
But we don't know what it is. We don't know what it'll be. You're talking 5G, you're talking tower to tower signal. There is no plan. And until there's a plan, there is no plan.
On
We
a
don't
point
know
of
what the plan
order,
is.
on a point of order, please. I'd like to ask the deputy warden what it is we're doing now. We have finished
Right.
discussion of an item. We've had a vote. You've declared it. Is there another item on the agenda?
There is no other item, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that
So
motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gunn, seconded by Councillor Morrison. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.